Alright friends, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are here in Indonesia preparing to depart for the last time as we head tonight to Brunei in the experimental version of the fly-by-wire A320. We are sporting the Indonesia 1 livery tonight, which is the official livery of the President's Office of Indonesia. He doesn't fly an A320, I think he's in a Boeing, but we'll forgive him that tonight as we fly in this far more preferable Airbus A320. Theme of tonight is landings. We're only going to do one. It's going to be about 2 hours from now once we actually get to Brunei. But on our way in here, we had an awful landing that I executed in front of way too many viewers. So tonight is redemption night. We are going to have a nice chill flight on the way to Brunei and a very tense few seconds while I try to redeem myself from the awful landing from last night. So I think that's enough preamble. Let's go ahead and jump in to our cockpit, which is currently cold and dark. So what's the first thing we do? We got to power this thing up. So we'll turn on the batteries, battery 1, battery 2, and we see external powers available, so we'll power that on immediately. And she comes to life. Get those nav and logo lights on, let folks on the ground know that we're in here. And let's get some of these internal lights going. So no smoking sign to auto, arm the emergency lights. We'll keep seatbelt signs off and fuel pumps off for now, since we will be doing some refueling. And you know, I've never actually done the test, so that's fun. Look at that. That's so pretty. It looks like all the lights are working just fine. That's good. Let's turn the crew supply, the ground control, and start getting those IRSs aligned. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll do some fire tests. First with the APU. And engine 1. And engine 2. And cargo smoke. Just to round out all the fire tests. That all sounds good. We'll get the APU started now so we can start the boarding process. 1, 2, 3. And while that spools up, we'll come down here and start getting our panels set up. Got this brightness up. It's a nice and bright day here in Indonesia. Set this to QNH constraints. Fuel director is on. We'll brighten up these panels. And we'll set up the FMC when we brief our departure. So we'll keep that as is for now. We'll turn off this flight director. I see the crosshairs are back tonight. So I think that must have been a bug in the last build for the experimental version. They've since fixed. Coming down here to the center console, let's brighten up the ECAM displays. And we see the APU spooling up there. We have landing gear indicated down. Landing gear lever is down. Time is correct at 2:10 Zulu. Anti-skid is on. We have brake pressure. APU is available. So we'll go ahead and get the APU bleed on. And we'll just check the various pages here. So cockpit oxygen is good pressure. We have oil quantity. That's checked. And hydraulic fluid, nice and full. Alright, so with the APU running, let's hop to the McDo and we'll get our boarding started. Weights and balance. Request the data. And, oh, got not only 98 passengers tonight. That's interesting. Nice and light. So we'll start the boarding process. That should be nice and quick, quicker than usual. Let's continue the setup going down the panel here. So we are in Unicom tonight since there is no ATC coverage where we are. Hopefully that will change. Thrust levers are in the idle position. Let's get some integrated lights on here. And the weather system and predictive wind shear system is off. Engine masters are off. Engine mode is set to normal. ATC is on standby. TCAS is on standby. We will squawk 7000 until we get ATC coverage. Spoilers are retracted and disarmed. Flaps are up. Rudder trim is 0. Cockpit doors open. Parking brake is on. That all looks nice and well set up. Alright, next let's hop over to the FlyPlad and get some of our route information today. Let's pull this in from SimBrief. And we have weather information here just to read these quick METARs as they are. This is as of 1:30 Zulu, so relatively recent. Variable winds at 2 knots. So we pretty much have choice of runway then for for takeoff. Good visibility, few clouds at 2100, 31 degrees, QNH 1009, no significant weather. Let's set this then to 1009. There we go. Alright, and what we're expecting, also recent METAR, winds are light out to 100, good visibility, scattered clouds, a broken ceiling at 30,000, 27 degrees, 1008, no significant weather. That's great. There might, before I saw that there might be weather en route, but we'll check our operating flight plan and confirm that. So jumping in here, speaking of the operating flight plan, let's go ahead and brief this. So we are Indonesia 9084. Even though we're in the presidential livery, we're going to assume the identity of a Garuda Indonesia flight. We are leaving from Whiskey Alpha Mike Mike, heading to Whiskey Bravo Sierra Bravo. Alternate tonight is Whiskey Bravo Golf Romeo, which is not too far from Brunei, from the capital Brunei rather. And yeah, flight number is Indonesia 9084, constant exit 15, flight level is 380 as we're heading west. Triple pause is nice and high, 56,000 feet. And good tailwind, 29 knots. That should help us pick up some speed in the air. So we're expecting a air time of 1 hour and 40 minutes, a block time of 2 hours and 15. Alright, so max shear rate of 0.7, so expecting pretty calm winds on the route. Flying out of runway 18 direct to Diani via airway Alpha 211 and direct to the runway. So no SIDS or stars have been assigned, but we'll take a look and see if any may be appropriate absent any ATC coverage. For fuel, pretty low requirement for the alternate tonight, since the alternate is not too far away from our destination, and considering the easy weather, I think this recommendation is fine. So we'll go ahead and start loading 6,088 kilograms. Quick refueling tonight. So this will be a very light airplane compared to what we're used to. Alright, so looking at the routing here, pretty straightforward. We already checked the METARs at our destination and departure airports. Alright. Yeah, just nothing but tailwinds there. Alright, not too shabby. Should be a nice approach as well. It looks fairly mountainous. Alright, so I think we're all good there. Let's start loading up some charts. So let's get our route loaded from SimBrief. And there we go. Again, no SIDS or stars assigned, but we'll just evaluate what's available to us. Let's take a look at the charts. Airport parking. There we are. Pin that. Good SIDS. We are departing via runway 18. Oh, that looks like a mess. What are we looking at? So our first waypoint is direct to Diani. Let's see if that aligns with any of our... Actually, a better way to view this, a pretty neat feature in Navigraph, is we can overlay all the departures and see what makes the most sense. And honestly, none of them do. None of them do. So we might just, you know, ignore the SID and just go direct. Keep it nice and easy tonight. Yeah, these are all the runway 18 departures. Yeah, honestly, I think we just go direct. Why make it complicated? Cool. So that's that. I will take a look at that chart again, just to be conscious of any recommended initial climb out altitudes. We may want to at least reference that. Let's see. So I'm seeing 5,000, 5,000, 4,000 if you're going easterly. Yeah, so I think we could just, oh yeah, some 4,000 here, because there is some terrain. So let's go ahead and assume a healthy climb out speed, climb out altitude rather, of, where am I going? Here we go. 5,000 feet. Sweet. All right, last thing we want to do is pull an approach plate for runway 18, because we'll use this for an emergency briefing, but we'll do that in a little bit. All right, so we've got the charts we need for departure. We're still refueling. Let's see how we're doing on boarding. Almost done with boarding already. It's such a light plane. So while we wait for that to finish up, let's go ahead and brief those emergency procedures. So if there are any issues on the way to the runway, we'll bring the airplane to a complete stop, clear any ECAM messages, notify A2C if available, and then make a call whether to return to the gate or to continue to the runway. If there's an issue before V1 or 100 knots, I'll either call stop or go. If I call stop, I'll bring the airplane to a complete stop on the runway. And again, we'll clear any ECAM messages, notify A2C if available, and then determine if we can go back to the gate or remain on the runway for assistance. If there is an issue after V1, we are committed to take off, and we will take no further action before 400 AGL, except for gear up or clearing any oral alarms. At that point, we will fly the missed approach procedure for runway 18, as indicated here. So at 4.5 miles from Mike November Oscar, turn right to track 304 to the MD non-directional beacon down here. Intercept bearing 270, and then contact ATC for further instructions. So what we'll effectively do, we'll probably just hold it Monado, and then determine if we need to come back to the airport via the ILS 18 approach, or continue along our merry way. And that is my best attempt at emergency briefing. Please, feedback is welcome. Sounds like boarding is complete, so enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and start prepping the box. Start with the data page, check that our IRSs are all on nav, and they are. And check that we have the right engines.
Welcome to flight deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight.
And the AirX cycle is the latest.
Some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. So I just requested our flight plan from SimBrief, so this is all automatically loaded for us, and it all looks correct. Departure, destination, alternate, call sign, cost index, flight level, all looks good. Triple pause, I like to just pull the number from the flight plan, 56997. It was just about there. But the flight plan format I use calculates an average triple pause across the flight. I'm not sure how this one is determined, so I just go with the one that I know. All right, next check the flight plan. So we are going to go direct to Diani after an initial climb out, and just do a visual check that that looks reasonably correct. Yep, so direct Diani garage, pretty much a straight line all the way Brunei, Mamak, and then we get to Brunei there. Very simple flight plan tonight. Alright, RadNavs. There were a few that we want to reference for the missed approach, so just for good practice, we'll get those in here. Alright, so we have the Mike November Oscar VOR. Get that into VRR1, and we have an NDB of Mike Delta. Mike Delta, get that down here. And just confirm that the frequencies match, so 255, 255, and 114.2, 114.2, all good. And this is the ILS. I guess we could put that in case we need it. Why not? Well, actually, this is what we'll do. In the flight plan, Even though we're not flying a SID, we can still put in our departure runway, and we can just select no SID. That way, the McDo will know where we're departing, and it would give us any kind of known restrictions for that departure if there were any. We have this flight discontinuity. I will go ahead and clear that, just that we do engage nav mode. We'll go directly to the right waypoint. Alright, so in our rad navs, I would expect the ILS to be there, and it is. Good stuff. Fuel prediction, just going to take... Oh no, not yet. We haven't put our fuel information in. Let's go to init B. And here we'll put in our zero fuel weight. It's calculating 52.7, and that matches the flight plan, so that is good to insert. Block fuel. Fueling is complete, so that is 6.1 thousand kilograms. Boom. And before I forget, we'll go ahead, now that refueling is done, get that seatbelt sign on and get those fuel pumps off. Sorry, fuel pumps on. Alright, we have a tailwind tonight of 29 knots, T29, so we'll get that in here. That'll help with fuel consumption. And let's look at our reserve figures. So we have a contingency of 0.5, alternate of 1, and final reserve of 0.9. So 0.5, 1, and 0.9. And that gives us an extra fuel time of 16 minutes. That's plenty. That looks good to me. Now let's look at fuel prediction. We have our center of gravity measure there, 24.8. We'll use that for our performance calculations. Alright, so next up is performance. So I'm still using a spreadsheet here on a separate computer to calculate performance figures. This is just going to allow us to do a takeoff with less than full power. It's a bit easier on the engines. It increases the life and reflects real-world procedures. If you're at an airport that has a runway that accommodates a less than full power takeoff and the weather conditions are right, it is the preferred way for real-world pilots to get the plane off the ground. So we'll pull up the runway information chart here just to kind of get this data into the calculator. So the runway has a bearing of 182 degrees. Elevation is, oh, well, actually, it changes. Oh no, it's pretty flat. So 328 all the way through. The length is 2650 meters, so shorter than what we often see. So we'll see what kind of figures we get. Wind, going to our METAR information. Our call was just variable, so we'll just put in a value of 0. Yeah. So variable at 3 knots. And outside air temperature is 32 degrees. QNH 1008. Conditions are dry. Takeoff weights is 59 tons, which is quite light. And we're doing a flex takeoff, configuration 1. Our packs will be off, and our takeoff center of gravity is 24.8 estimated. Alright, so we have flex data here. So we're doing configuration 1 takeoff, and based on our center of gravity, we're trimming up 0.8. Get that in here. Flex to temp is 67 degrees. This is what's determining our flex power. Transition altitude 11,000. I'm going to assume that's correct. Does it have it on this chart? Yes, transition altitude is 11,000, so that's correct. And V speed, so V1, so that's decision speed, is 138. Rotation speed is 139. And single engine is 139. And thrust reduction, acceleration altitude, and engine acceleration altitude all look correct because we're about 300 feet above sea level, and this needs to be 1,500 feet above the ground by default. It can change depending on the airport or airline, I believe. But that all looks good. So box setup is complete. So next up, we will get that tug attached. Before we do so, let's disconnect external power because we are an APU. And let's get all the elements of the ground crew away. So let's say bye-bye to the jetway. Is it going to go? Yes, okay, there it goes. External power. Oh no, it's coming back. Baggage, catering. Let's try that again. And it's going. Perfect. Alright, and we have the new toolbar pushback mod here, so let's go ahead and pre-plan our pushback. And we are departing runway 18, so we'll want to push back and face in this direction. And enter. So that's all ready to go. So let's go ahead and request pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by. Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Alright, so before we do that, let's do our before start checklist to the line. So cockpit prep is complete, fuel messages sent, gear pins and covers are removed, signs are on or auto, so we'll get that to auto. IRSs are on nav, fuel quantity is confirmed at 6,000 kilograms.
Please release parking brake.
Takeoff data is set, that's really annoying. Bow RF is set before start checklist to the line. So let's go below the line. Windows and doors are closed. Beacon is coming on. That is really annoying. I apologize. Thrust levers are on idle. Parking brake is as required. And before start checklist is complete. Parking brake coming off, dude.
Parking
Jesus.
brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Alright, so let's get the clock running. We'll get our ignition, our engine mode to ignition, and get the chrono and engine to start.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information card in your seat back pocket.
Get a better look at the engine start procedure here. We'll see the igniter engaging here. Start to see fuel flow creep up.
Your life vest is in a pouch under your seat. If instructed by the crew, tear open the pouch, push the vest and pull it over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist. Secure the buckle and pull the strap tight.
And there's our flex setting. So that is the thrust we'll be applying for takeoff.
While blowing into the tubes on both sides. The locator light on the shoulder will turn on automatically in weather, and remember never place your vest inside the aircraft.
Alright, the igniter should disengage around now. Yeah, and it did. Now I believe it's just spinning up on the combustion of its own fuel. And look, we are turning into position. So clean. Parking brake is set.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Alright, engine 1 start complete. Sorry, engine 2 start complete, engine 1
You
start.
may disconnect.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Very cool mod. They've done such a good job with that. Alright, igniter is active on engine 1. And engine 1 is available with 2 good engine starts. So let's go ahead and get our engine mode back to a normal and get that APU shut down. So APU bleed can come off, APU master switch can come off. Alright, so let's get ourselves set up for taxi. Get our taxi lights on. Let's finish some configuration here on the flight controls. So I believe we're a pitch trim of up 0.8, as we can reference on the McDo. And let's do our flight control check. So full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral, disconnect that nose steering and rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. Alright, that all looks good. So after start checklist, anti-ice is not required, ECAM status is checked. Pitch trim is set to up 0.8 and rudder trim is 0. Let's close the cockpit door here. Configure for takeoff, so flaps to setting 1 will arm the spoilers. And we'll do some of our pre-flight rolling checks now, so we'll get the weather system on. Predictive wind shear system on, we'll set ATC to standby for now. And VOR is active, so I think we are ready to roll. Parking brake off, apply some power. It doesn't take much when we're this light. So I'll use the till to stay on this yellow line here. So the till is this doohickey right here next to the side stick, and it's meant to deflect the nose wheel on the ground. I believe up to 80 degrees, either left or right, so you can do almost 90-degree turns with it. You can still control the turning on the ground with the rudder, but the rudder only gives you 6 degrees of deflection on either side, which makes it great for precise control on straightaways like this, or when you're trying to stay on center line on your takeoff roll. And the fly-by-wire guides allow you to map nose wheel steering to different controls. So I have an extra joystick here that I just use for that purpose. Alright, auto brake set to max. Let's check in with the cabin. Cabin showing ready. Takeoff config. Perfect. So let's do our before takeoff checklist to the line. Flight controls are checked, flight instruments are checked, briefing is confirmed, flap setting is set to 1, V speeds and flex temp are set, ATC is set to standby. We'll turn that on now. What else we got? ECAM memo. No blue. So before takeoff to the line. We'll do the rest of the takeoff checklist once we get to our hold point. Pretty gorgeous part of the world. Alright, clocking at a nice speed. Again, being so light, we're just really gunning it. We'll assume we're approved for high-speed taxi. And since we're doing a flex, we want to take advantage of the full length of the runway. So we're going to go all the way to the end here. I did a flex takeoff once at Paro. If you're familiar with Paro, that's up in Bhutan, in the mountains. The airport is just surrounded by mountains. It's one of the most challenging approaches in the world. The YouTube videos of people flying into Paro is insane. But I decided to do a flex takeoff there for some reason. I'm like, oh, the runway's long enough, it'll be no problem. Not thinking that the mountains are literally right there. So because I wasn't applying full power and takeoff, and I literally used every inch of that runway to get off the ground, I nearly smashed into the mountainside. That's a fun video to watch. Alright, we're approaching the hold point. My joystick went a little crazy there, so apologies to passengers. Confirm runway 18. Alright, before takeoff checklist below the line. So takeoff runway is confirmed, the cabin crew's advised. TCAS is coming on, even though no one's around, but good to have that system online. Engine mode is on normal. Packs are coming off to give us a little bit of an extra power boost for our flex takeoff. Alright, I'm just going to remind myself where we are looking at the chart so I can do my radio call. Where are we? We are Manado. Manado traffic, Indonesia 9084, runway 18 taking off. Manado traffic. Did that a little backwards, but you know what? It was good enough. Alright, so again, to make maximum use of this runway, we're going to try to do a 90-degree turn best we can. Gotta get that ground speed down below 10 knots to do this safely. Just apply light brake pressure and start our turn now. How did we do? I'm pretty happy with that. Alright. Calling takeoff, nose wheel deflected down, power to 50%. Power stable to flex. Man flex SRS runway. Knots, easing back on the back pressure, on the forward pressure rather. V1 rotates. Positive rate gear up. Get those packs back on. Acceleration altitude going to thrust climb. Pitch the nose down to start speeding up. Going to begin our turn just now. There we go. There goes the flight director, so we'll follow it. Approaching S speed. Speed check, flaps up. Ground spoilers disarmed. And we're going to hand fly this for a little bit, why not? Ease out of the turn. Speed, Alt Star, and we'll engage our autopilot now that we're at our initial climb out. Ivan, how's it going? Yes, we are doing a redemption flight tonight. I did review that last landing, and the landing rate wasn't too bad, but we definitely bounced. That was embarrassing as hell. Alright, before I climb any higher... Ooh, that's nice. Let's just take a look at our surroundings, because I have a feeling we're missing a gorgeous departure. Look at this. Who wants to go to Manado? Super cool. Just so many colors. So again, we're in the Indonesia 1 livery tonight, which is the official livery of the President and Vice President, I believe, of Indonesia. But as I mentioned before, I think they fly a Boeing. Super cool, guys. Look at that. Ah, there's a boat. Alright. So with that, ooh, cool map. Let us clear ourselves up to 38,000. And open climb. So after takeoff checklists, landing gears up, flaps are retracted, packs are back on, bow RF is set. Since we're cleared through transition altitude, we'll go ahead and go to standard pressure at this point. Our next checks will be at 10,000 feet.
gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Oh my god, guys, that was so gnarly. If you're still with me, first of all, thank you, because that was like dead air for the entire cruise phase. But my kid just, I guess something he ate with dinner just not sit well with him, and it ended up all over his room. So I've spent the entire cruise phase of this flight with a bottle of Resolve in one hand and a rag in the other. But he's sleeping. Doesn't have a fever or anything. He's sleeping in our bed with my wife right now. So all is fine. But yeah, that wasn't as relaxing a flight as I'd hoped it would be. Oh my god. Okay, so we are just about 40 minutes out, which is the perfect time to start descent prep. So let's pull up our charts and see what options we have for arrival, because we were not assigned a star. So there you go, because there are none. They're just approaches. So we are planning, well, let's look at the weather. At a 190. So let's see what runway we're given. 210, that makes perfect sense. Or runway 21. So looking at the approaches, we'll just go to the charts. 21, there is an ILS. We are going to do that one. That's the one. We'll brief it in a second, but what we need to know is, well, how are we approaching it? Our final waypoint is Mammoth. And Mammoth, by the looks of it, is over here. So we can do Mammoth, we can go direct to that initial approach fix. And that would be 2,000 feet. That's a really short final, though. Oh no, here we go. It was 14 nautical miles. We'd want to, okay, we didn't want to intersect that. We want to intersect it at 2,000 feet. So let's calculate how much time we need to get there. 113 nautical miles. And what's the waypoint we could put in? Charlie Foxtrot 21. Let's see if that works as a fix. I've actually never tried that before. So we'll go here, we'll go to our fix info page, and we'll go ahead and put in Charlie Fox 21. I don't know if that will work. Oh! No, I think it will. I think it will. And what was it, like 150 miles? Yeah, let's do 115. Alright, you know what, let's do 118, be safe. 118 on the radius. And get our view up. Alright, there's our top descent. Nice, guys. Nice. Alright. And not noticing any obvious terrain warnings. If there was significant terrain, I would expect there to be stars. We'll get airport information loaded up as well. We'll also get rid of these old charts that we don't need. Alright, so next up is to get our weather. Go back to the box. And for this, we'll actually request a METAR from the MCDU. This is a little bit realistic. We'll go ahead and clear Whiskey Alpha Mike Mike, because that's our departure. We'll just take our destination and alternate. We'll send and see what we get back. And I need a sip of water after that. Geez, just like... something a pilot would never have to do while in cruise on a flight is clean up his kids' vom. Oh man. You guys seem to be good sports though. Let's see, you got some bots on the chat. Just gonna clear that out from YouTube. Alright. Alright, that message came through. Let's take a look. Received massages. And what we got at Whiskey Bravo Sierra Bravo. So winds. Oh, so actually, no, sorry, the time 2:30 Zulu. So this came in about an hour ago. We might get a new report just now. But 2:30 at 7 knots. Few clouds, working clouds. Pretty warm. QNH 1008. No significant weather. Go ahead and print that out. So we have it as a reference. While we wait for that to print, let's take another look at the runway. We'll just plan what braking we think we'll need. Oh, and that's super long, so we're just going to do low braking. That's no problem at all. So low braking is set. And let's go ahead and go over to a performance page and start putting in our parameters for arrival. So 1008 QNH. Temperature is 29 degrees. Winds 230 at 7. Transition altitude, we'll just confirm that on the approach chart. Transition level 130, that's correct. Nice and slow approach speed. Barrow ref for the ILS straight in, we're class C, that is 289 for the straight in. That's it. Let's take a closer look at this chart here. So we have our misapproach, climb straight ahead to 3500, then right turn to Brew VOR. So let's clear these old red navs that we don't need. And let's put in Brew, Bravo Romeo uniform. Alright, what else is useful here? So 3,500 and 2,000 feet. We could do the circle to land. We could start from the VOR approach. That honestly might be safer if there is terrain to avoid, and 3,500 is the I think that's the minimum safe altitude. I think that's what that stands for. I may be wrong. But let's go to our flight plan and let's program the sucker in. So we are arriving at the ILS runway 21. ILS 21. No star and no transition. Approach vias though. We're going to do via Brew. So we're going to fly to the VOR first. So we're going to just go descend to 3,500 and then we'll descend to 2,000 on our way to the initial approach. And this is the circle pattern. We'll see if the McDo actually programs that in. It'll be pretty cool if it does. So insert that and just take a look from Mammoth to Brew to Charlie Fox 2-1, Charlie Fox 2, /4. That might be directly around the loop. Charlie Fox 2-1 again. Foxtrot, Foxtrot 2-1. And runway. So that looks correct. Let's see how it looks on the map here. Alright, it might look a mess because we're going at speed. But yeah, no, it's definitely, it's got that circle programmed in, so that's pretty awesome. That will look more normal once we slow down. Cool. So we've never done a circle approach before, at least not on this trip. Let's see, anything else? Anything in regard to speed restrictions? It says max knots for the circle to land is 180. Is that 180 from the VOR? I mean, definitely for this turn, we want to make that nice and tight. So let's just plan to get to 180 knots by the time we get to Charlie Fox 2-1. That's cool. That works for me. Alright, get back to ARC, get our view back, see how we're doing to top of descent. Getting close, 120 miles, folks. And let's take a quick look outside. Oh, these poor guys have been in their seats this whole time while I've been cleaning up VATSIM in my son's room. These passengers have been confined to their seats. Alright, so we're still over ocean. Lots of beautiful clouds out there. Let me take a quick peek at VATSIM, see how traffic is looking right now. Oh, pretty light, although Singapore's online again. Ho Chi Minh City is online, and that's fun because that will be our next destination. So we may get at least tower or approach and approach coverage if they're online tomorrow night as well, if we happen to be doing another stream. But I think after we leave Indonesia and we get back to mainland Asia, we'll have some more consistent ATC if we're flying evening East Coast hours. Like right now I see Hong Kong, I see Shanghai, all with coverage at the moment. So, and then of course once we get back to the Northeast United States, we'll have plenty of ATC coverage. You get ATC, you get ATC. This is the part of the flight where I kind of start losing my mind. There's so much anticipation for descent and then approach. Successfully checking to see if they've updated METARs, and they do. Oh, is that updated? 3 Zulu versus 230. No, yeah, versus 230 Zulu. So it is updated. Huh. 210 at 3 knots versus 230 at 7 knots. It's a marginal difference. QNH is still the same. Temperature is still the same. May as well put in the new winds though. 210 at 3. Why not use data that you have at your fingertips when you have it? There we go. So we are close to land if we're about to overfly an airport. Oh yeah, you know what? I think I see something down there. Am I imagining it? Yeah, there's something. Might be an island. Oh, there's definitely a landmass in the distance there. All right. See here. Okay, I wanted to look up Brunei. Let's learn a little bit more about it. Oh, it's the north coast of the island of Borneo, and I believe Borneo was featured in one of the Uncharted games. Let's see, Borneo in pop culture. I could have sworn they made that place up. But nope, my friends, it's a real place. They don't have a Borneo in pop culture section. That's disappointing. Come on. Nah. Alright, Uncharted 2. Oh yeah, there are a bunch of jungle missions in Borneo. Third largest island in the world. I'm pretty sure Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is by far the best Uncharted game. Prove me wrong. Oh, land ho. Alright. That just looks so good. That just looks so good. Oh, looks like there's some weather to the north. Oh yeah, over there. But we'll be well clear of it. "60 miles. So we're learning how to do these Rubik's Cubes. Actually a pretty fun way to pass the time when you're doing cruise and there's nothing really else going on. Real hat trick is doing a Rubik's Cube, flying a plane, and chatting with ATC all at the same time. Alright, let's get this nice and scrambled. I am not paying attention to how I'm scrambling it. Alright, let's see. Just flash that. See, that's kind of nice and scrambled, huh? That should be pretty good. Alright. Let's have some fun with this. Let's actually use the chrono. And let's see if I can solve it before top of descent. Let's try that. So let's time it with the chrono. Chrono's active. Alright. All algorithms. If you learn pattern recognition, becomes trivial. This is actually a hard scramble. Let's see. Let's see. Shit. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, top layer. Alright. What are we doing here? Alright, second layer. Alright. Kind of hard to do it in low light too. The orange and the red blend together. Alright, and my time is going to be terrible. Come on. Boom. Done. What was that? A minute 57? We'll say minute 57, but proof. There you go. Hey, Kriv. How's it going? Welcome back. Yeah, so it's algorithms, it's patterns and repetitive movements. And I think if you learn 7 moves for 7 patterns, you can solve any Rubik's Cube scramble. It's just if you want to do it competitively and like compete with these guys, I can do it in like sub 10 seconds. You have to learn many more than 7 algorithms. Many, many more. But it's fun to do during Zoom meetings. I recommend it. And Kriv, I'm not sure if you were here, but I was hoping to again have another nice relaxing cruise flight tonight. But then just as I cleared myself to 38,000, I got calls from upstairs and my son had vomited all over his bedroom. So I spent the bulk of cruise flight cleaning that up. And I got back just in time to prepare for descent. So honestly, he kind of timed it. He couldn't have timed it better. But he's now peacefully asleep on my side of the bed. That's fine. All right, 30 miles to top of descent. Oh, weather update. Does that correspond to this? No, it's still from 3 Zulu. Crib. Oh, your dedication's fantastic. I'm glad you kept yourself entertained while I was dead silent. How's Call of Duty tonight? Oh, well, good on you for keeping at it. Like kill-death ratio of like 0.1. Alright, let's program our FMC for 3500. Swap that over to hundreds and then adjust. Five miles. Alright, let's initiate that descent. Thrust idle, open descent. Alright, thrust is pulling back, and we do have a negative descent rate. Very healthy tailwind.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Alright. So there is still a risk here. I see lots of terrain in front of us. And we're led to believe by this approach chart that 3500 is nice and safe, at least for the immediate vicinity of Brunei. But let me show you something that gives me a little bit of pause. On the operating flight plan, if you so choose, at the very bottom you get this lovely vertical profile chart. And we are inbound Mamek, but see all these little green spikes here? Those are mountains. So and I can't really, can I zoom in more than that? No. It appears they're about 5,000 feet above the ground at its max. So just as long as our descent is gradual enough, we should clear it. We are inbound Mamek about 29 miles, and let's see, when were we supposed to start our descent according to this flight plan? Just about that far away from Mamek, so we are right on schedule. So, fingers crossed, we should be fine. We'll keep an eye on it. So this is Borneo. Nathan Drake blew up some shit down there. So there's Mammoth at about 15 miles, and on the profile, we want to cross Mammoth at what? About 26,000 feet. Where are we now? Almost there. Again, we'll just keep an eye on it. And since we are cleared below transition level, let's go ahead and put in local QNH 1008. Seems to be getting a little bumpy, so we'll get those seatbelt signs on now for the duration. And that tailwind has turned into a full-on crosswind. Alright, must be approaching Mammoth. We're executing our turn. You can tell by this arrow that we are now inbound direct for the Brunei VOR. Alright, the terrain seems less insane in this direction, so I'm feeling a bit better. Just out of curiosity. C Bravo, Sierra Bravo. I don't really use this feature, but curious if it's any good. It seems to be non-functional right now. Whiskey Bravo, Sierra Bravo. Oh, or is it the ICAO code? Is it the 3 BWN? Would that work? Nope. Is that right? Whiskey Bravo, Sierra Bravo, yeah. Does it have to be all caps? No. Okay, so it's just not working. Fascinating. Oh, that's right, they added the fly pad on the other side too, if you wanted to fly from the right seat. Nice little addition there by the fly-by-wire team. Keeping an eye out for updated METAR information, but not seeing it yet. Here's our approach, and there's that nice little circle that's being drawn for us. That will get tighter as we slow down. Oh, we'll get our TCAS set to below. It's more pertinent as we descend. But I believe we are the only traffic in the area. Next checks will be at 10,000 feet. Definitely getting bumped around a bit. Lots of clouds right ahead of us. That might be over the water. I think that might be clear where we're heading. Oh, it's just so cool, man. Come on. Looks so good. Alright. 10,000 feet checks. Let's do this. Let's get our landing lights on. And set the constraints. Landing system on. Slowing down to 250 knots. Yeah, and we are fine on altitude, so I'm not concerned about that. We have updated weather. Nope, still 3 Zulu. Alright, so it gets the VOR at 9 past. That gives us 7 minutes to get down to altitude, and that should be plenty. I think we are going to fly through that mess, though. Oof. IMC conditions, people. The METAR said no SIG. It says no SIG. This seems pretty significant to me. Is that even safe to fly into? Alright, we are picking up the ILS. Alright, we're about to enter the soup. Really hope there's not a mountain in there. Oh, come on, this is so cool. So insane. Oh, just worry about icing? No, temperatures are fine. That is definitely a dark cloud, though. Oh god, that's so pretty. Oh, I can't get over it. I'm such a sucker for this stuff. So we do have updated 330 Zulu. QNH is still the same. Winds are slightly different, 220 at 5. Temp is a bit warmer. Oh, sorry, 228. So we'll just do /8, nice little shortcut if we just want to change the magnitude. Nope, didn't like that. /08. That should work. /008. Oh, come on. Alright, fine. That's not really a shortcut. Alright, let's do a formal. Yeah, hey Mo Daddy. Yeah, it does look pretty good. This is a nice one. Alright. So pretty simple. We'll be flying the circle to land approach via the VOR. We'll want to get down to 180 knots by the turn at 14 nautical miles from the Brunei VOR. And then it's pretty straightforward intercept from there. And on the landing, we'll probably exit, I mean it's a very long runway. We'll try for Echo 3, but probably exit Echo 4. And we'll go to the gates. As far as redemption landings go, this will be a good opportunity, assuming the visibility is good. Alright, let's do the approach checklist. Briefing is confirmed. ECAM status checked for now. Land distance we confirmed. We're doing low braking. Seatbelts are on. The bow ref is set. Minimums are set. And engine mode will be on normal. Approach checklist is complete. We're getting nice and tight now. We're getting close to that VOR. See if I can spy the airport. So turning for the VOR station. Oh yeah, there's the end of the runway there. I did download freeware scenery for this airport, so we'll see how it looks. Alright, at this point we'll get ourselves down to 2,000, which is the altitude for the initial approach fix. Although for the circle to land, actually I did not check this part. Yeah, it basically has you on a descent path to 2,000 from the VOR. Brunei traffic, Indonesia 9084 on circle approach for runway 21, Brunei traffic. Alright, so let's activate the approach, start slowing ourselves down for this turn. Confirm approach phase.
2,500.
Radio altimeter is alive. Starting to level out as we reduce our speed. And we'll see this turn getting a bit tighter as we get slow, and that's the idea. Green dot speed is really slow tonight. 196 is because we only have like 100 passengers on board. Plane is very light. And our alternate's very close, so we didn't bring a lot of extra fuel either. So the plane's going to probably feel different when we land, because I'm just not accustomed to landing such a light plane. Speed alt star. And speed checked, flaps 1. And we're at the speed restriction for the circle to land, just in time. And this is a real testament to the fly-by-wire, guys, because this routing looks just how it looks on the chart. I'll pull it up once again just so you guys can see it. Well, I hate how it stutters when I load up the Navigraph. So I might not do that again. But yeah, here, this little turn here. Modeled very nicely. Awesome job, guys. It's not easy to do. So it's not a mod. It's actually a third-party software that's running in the background. So the ATC is provided by the VATSIM network, and there's a client called vPilot that you just have running in the background that reads data from your flight sim and translates it for the ATC network. So it's not actually like interfering with the sim, actually. But the integration is pretty sweet because you can actually map your radio button to the radio frequencies, and you can adjust your ATC frequencies in the sim. It's just the external software is reading the frequency from outside the program, if that makes sense. I probably did a poor job explaining that. The plane I'm flying is a mod, but Microsoft makes it very easy to mod the sim. You just copy a folder into a designated, what they call the community folder in the flight sim directory, and the flight sim automatically reads it and loads it. Alright, we're circling to final. At this point I'm going to arm the approach, activate our secondary autopilot. Cat 3 dual, and glide slope and loc are armed. There you can see the runway just out of our right window. And the localizer is coming through. Loc star. Brunei traffic, Indonesia 9084 on 10-mile final for ILS runway 21. Brunei traffic. And loc, we are established on the localizer. Glide slope is coming in now. Speed check flaps 2, gear down. Spoilers are armed. Lights coming on. Glide slope star. And glide slope, we are established on the approach. Speed check flaps 3. Crib, that is 100% correct. This is a standard version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but vPilot is running on the background, which is connecting me to the ATC network. And flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crews advise auto throttles and speed. Auto brake is on low. ECAM memo landing no blue. Alright, all we gotta do now, friends, is land. Got a bit of a tail wind offset, 4 knots. pushing us to the left, so we'll just be conscious of that.
One thousand.
1,000. Autopilot coming off.
1,000. 1,000.
Here's my moment of truth, friends. Stay on that glide slope. Got the pappy lights. That tailwind is now a headwind, but still pushing me left. But it's pretty minimal. Holding that glide slope pretty well.
500. 400.
Eyes on the landing zone.
300. 100 above.
Coming in a little shallow.
200.
Right on top of those trees, eh?
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Redeemed. Reverse green. Decel. Fuck yeah. 70 knots. Rolling out. That was way better. Brunei traffic, Indonesia 9084 is clear of runway 21, Brunei traffic. Alright, get that parking brake on for now. Let's clean this up for post-landing. Get some of these lights off. It's a bit dark, so we'll keep the turn lights on, but we'll get this set to taxi. Strobes can go back to auto. And weather systems off, predictive wind shear system off, ATC to standby, TCAS to standby. Sorry, ATC to auto. We'll keep it on until we get to the stand. Flaps are retracted, spoilers are disarmed. And let's get that APU started. 1, 2, and 3. And do our after landing checklist. Flaps are retracted, spoilers disarmed, APU is started, radar is off, predictive wind shear system is off. The after landing checklist is complete. Let's figure out where we're going. I think we got on to it just takes so long to load. Echo 3. And there should be actually another chart that describes... Oh, here are the parking stands, actually. Oh, the terminal's right to our left. Oh, this is it right here. Okay. Oh, the stands are right in front of us. So, can we see... Are there any stands with services? Maybe down there? So let's go check that out. Oh, fuel on board below 3 tons. I think that was probably why the land soon warning came on. And the outer tanks have been transferred. All because our alternate was very close by tonight. Just an extra 1,000 kilograms to get there. Alright, so using the rudders now for fine control. Yeah, that looks like a stand meant for us. So not this turn off, but probably the next one. Go ahead and shut those lights off so as to not blind the ground crew. Ah, sorry. I turned a bit early. I see, this is our line here. Slow it down. You want to come into the stand at about 5 knots. So we are like gunning it right now. Alright, that's better. Just get nice and straight on it. Oh, there's our guy. Slow down, slow down. Alright, nice. Parking brake on, APU is available, so engines off, seatbelt sign off, APU bleed on. Welcome to Brunei, everybody. We made it. That was fairly awesome. I'm very happy with that. Despite all the puke and vom, all that good stuff, it all ended well. So we got these services attached. We don't have a rogue jetway tonight like we did last time. Get the ground power unit there. Let's do our parking checklist. So electric pump is off because we didn't use it. APU bleed is on. Engines are off. Seatbelts are off. Exterior lights are off. We'll get the strobes off. We'll get the beacons off. We'll keep the nav and logo lights on for now. Fuel pumps. Don't need those anymore. Because fun fact, the APU can still run with the fuel pumps off. Parking brake is engaged. Parking checklist is complete. And now, my friends, all we have left to do is to start shutting things down. So to go through securing the aircraft procedure, we'll start up here, get the IRSs off, one at a time. We'll get crew supply off. We'll turn down these lights. Ground power is available. We'll assume everyone has deplaned, so we'll activate ground power, turn off the APU bleed, shut down the APU. Got the no smoking and emergency lights off. And that is good for the overhead panel for now until we're ready to power down. Coming down here, we'll get these screens turned off. Come up to the glare shield, get that turned down, turn off the VOR. Go down here, oh yeah, we stopped the timer. So that's an hour and 55 minutes of engine time. That was pretty good. Go ahead and get the top ECAM turned down. Get the APU screen on just so that we know when the APU shuts down. Takes a couple minutes. Turn the radios off. Get these lights down. Get ATC back to standby. Altitude reporting off. Reset rudder trim. That all looks good. Unlock the cockpit door so we can actually get out. Wait for that APU to shut down. Come on, you can do it. Got to take a look at the scenery here. So this is again a custom scenery that's free on flightsim.to. So the building actually looks like it's from the airport. The tower actually looks like it's from the airport. I think if we get a closer look, we'll wait for that APU to shut down. We'll do a little drone action. Whoa! So if we navigate over here, first of all, FedEx on that gate over there. But the tower says Brunei International Airport. It's actually pretty cool. Let's get a shot of that with our plane. It's like a postcard. Alright, sounds quiet, so I think that APU, that's shut down. Yeah, so APU is gone. So now let's go through our securing the aircraft checklist. Brake temperature is checked, aiders are off, oxygen's off, APU bleed is off, emergency exit lights are off, signs and no smoking signs are off, APU is off. Last thing to do is the battery. Battery 2, battery 1. Securing the aircraft checklist is complete, and to close out the night, external power. Back to cold and dark. Well, that's the end of another flight. I think this was flight 35, which is nuts. Next, we're heading to Vietnam, where we do expect to get some more air traffic control coverage than we've had in Indonesia. And then we'll be following the east coast of Asia all the way up, back to Alaska, where we'll fly down through Canada back to the States. And as we get closer to the States, we'll just be lit up with ATC pretty much all the way back to New Jersey, because we'll be flying evening time East Coast, and ATC is online constantly in the evenings, regardless of the day of the week, it seems. Yeah, looking forward to some more eventful flights going forward. These casual ones have been nice, nice and relaxing. But we'll get some serious flights going. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks, we'll do Cross the Pond, westbound. I have signed up for the lottery. I should learn in about a week and a half if I have a lottery spot, and then we'll choose a routing. That will be April 2nd. It will probably be very early in the morning, East Coast U.S. time, but I'll be streaming for at least 6 hours, depending on the route that we do. As we cross the ocean with 999 other pilots. So that should be a lot of fun. If you're interested in Cross the Pond, check it out. I think the URL is ctp.vatsim.net. The lottery is open now, so if you have a VATSIM account, that's all you need to get started. The account is free to sign up, but you can enter the lottery anytime. Cool. I think that's it. Thanks to all you guys for sticking around. It's been a lot of fun. This is Mike November Whiskey signing off.